First off, congratulations. By watching this video, you are taking an active role in a child's education. Regardless of your relationship to that child, you, my friend, are showing all the signs of a good parent. Now, the fact that the child in your family may have fallen a bit behind is not unusual. Did you know that the illiteracy level in the U.S. is now at 43%? Statistics show that over 1/3 of kindergartners arrive at school totally unprepared to learn. The number of students who read for pleasure drops from nearly 1/2 in the 4th grade to less than 1/4 by senior year. Children simply are not reading as much as they should. That, in a nutshell, is the crisis facing America today. So, the goal of this video is to help the child in your family want to read. Children who want to read more, and those who read more achieve the most and stay in school longer. By taking action now, you can ensure that the child in your family will not become another statistic. See, the answer is to catch them now while they're young, nip it in the bud. Because in the early years, children are learning to read, but from 4th grade and up, they are reading to learn. So let's make sure they are equipped with the right tools for a good education and a bright future. In this video, we'll cover what reading really is, why children have trouble reading, and a plan of action on how to help the child in your family become a good reader. Now, before we get started, is there a kid out there? Learning to read and reading should be a family activity. So if the child in your family is not in the room, go get him. And kids, if you're watching this without your family, round them up. I'll wait. What is reading? Is it guessing at words as so many children do? Is it looking at pictures to get clues? Is it skipping a word and coming back later? No. Proper reading has 5 key elements. Number 1, segmenting sounds. That means seeing every sound picture in a word. A sound picture is simply a letter or a group of letters that represent a sound.
Dareth, what's the first sound you hear in the word sunny? Okay, Dareth, very good. What's the second sound you hear in the word sunny? Very good. And what's the third sound you hear in the word sunny? Okay, very good. What's the fourth sound you hear in the word sunny?
E.
E, very good. And what's that say? What's that word?
Sunny.
Okay, and sound each one out for me.
S. N. E.
Very good, Darius.
2, blending sounds. Blending sound pictures together into a word.
What sound is this?
B.
Very good. And what sound is this?
E.
Very good. What sound is that?
R.
Very good. And this is?
B.
And these are?
E. R.
Okay, Amber, and when we blend them all together?
Bear.
Very good.
3, knowing the code to the English language. What is the code, you ask? Well, since the child in your family already has mastered all of the 40+ sounds of the language, the code is knowing all of the different sound pictures for those sounds, and thereby knowing the different sounds that each sound picture can represent. It's not that hard. In fact, it's rather easy for kids because it makes sense.
Christina, if you saw this in a word, what would you say? Very good. Very good. All right. Very good. How about this? Okay, now we're going to work on some sounds. We're going to work on the sound O. If you were to see this in a word, would this be O?
Yes.
What about this?
Yes.
And what about that one?
Yes.
And that one too?
Yes.
They're all sounds of O and they're all different, huh? Very good.
Number 4, manipulating phonemes. What's that? It simply means that once they are able to segment and blend sounds together, and once they know the options for sounds and sound pictures, they need to be able to get inside a word, give word pictures different sounds, and in doing so, make it into a real word. Kids that can do that have a lot of fun with the words. It's really cool.
This is rug. Can you change this to bug for me?
Yes, ma'am.
What's that sound?
B-u-g. Bug.
Okay. Now can you change this one to hug for me?
Yes, ma'am.
How would you do that? What's the first sound?
Change the B into an H and make hug.
What's the sound?
G.
Okay. I'm going to change it into jug.
Yes, ma'am.
What's that sound?
J-u-g. Jug.
Okay. Now let's change jug into jig.
Yes, ma'am.
Sound?
J-i-g. Jig.
Jig. Okay. One more hard one. Ready? Make jig into big.
Yes, ma'am. B-i-g. Big.
Way to go. Good job.
And finally, 5, managing multi-syllable words. Kids look at big words as a long string of letters. Good readers don't. They look at big words as a group of chunks, or syllables, if you will. That makes it so much easier to manage the word. Once a child learns to do this, speed increases and reading becomes very enjoyable. And that's what we want, for children to want to read.
All right, Chase, let's look at this word. We're going to break it up in chunks. What is the first chunk?
L.
Very good. Now, what is the second chunk?
E.
All right, let's put those first two together.
Ella.
Ella, very good. What's the last chunk?
Fint.
Right, now let's put it all together.
Elephant.
Very good. Give me 5.
But most children don't like reading. Why? Because they're not good at it. Do you like to do anything that you're not really good at? But even when kids aren't good at reading, they have to read, especially in school. So there they sit with a book and no tools to read with. Reading is solving problems. Each word is a problem that needs to be decoded or solved. Children who have not acquired the proper tools to solve these problems end up making up their own tools and using them. Remember the proper tools? They are segmenting, blending, knowing the code, manipulating phonemes, and managing multi-syllable words. When children don't have these proper tools, they use their own, and disaster usually happens. Here's what they end up doing. Number 1, because they don't know the word, they are going to guess at it, and this is very common.
To dress up in human clothes and to smoke pipes and all the rest of that nuisance.
2, they often just skip the word.
When Helen was she got...
Okay, you skip this word right here.
3, they'll say the wrong word for an easy word that they know.
Mrs. Twig sneaked out into the garden but dug up.
Okay, John, you said but here. Do you know that word?
And?
That's an easy word, right?
Yeah.
You said the wrong word for an easy word.
And number 4, sometimes they'll say the wrong sound for the sound picture in a word.
Okay, Kiana, read that word for me.
Shall.
Okay, you said shall.
And 5, they'll reverse words.
Ariston saw a slave in this rich Roman's house.
Okay, now you see this word, Angie, right there? That's this word. And you said saw for that word, okay?
Or 6 reverses sound like b and d.
Ashley, what is this word?
Dig.
Dig? Okay, that's not duh, it's buh.
And finally 7, they'll get stuck on long words.
Let's try this word, Marcus.
Try ton.
That's what kids do when they don't have the right tools for reading. I guess you could say they have the puzzle without the box. They don't know what to do. Got it? If not, the nice thing about videotape is that you can stop it and watch it again. If you need to, go ahead. I'll wait. In order to help children want to read, simply remember R-E-A-D. First, the single most important ingredient to helping children want to read is to read to them. I cannot stress enough the importance of reading to children. By reading to a child, you are helping to increase their potential for an extended vocabulary. You are also helping to increase their attention span, which makes them better listeners in school. Reading to children helps increase background knowledge and comprehension. This will allow them to better understand their teachers during the learning process. Reading to a child also improves their reading, writing, and speaking skills. It builds self-esteem and increases imagination. When you read aloud to a child, you are passing on a torch that will be passed from generation to generation. Reading aloud to children is the single most important activity for building the knowledge required for eventual success in reading. When you read aloud to a child, you are a role model. One-on-one reading to children creates a bond that often results in the child opening up about their greatest fears, joys, sorrows, and secrets. Something as simple as encouraging a child to read helps the child want to read. Most learning takes place at a point of interest, so point out interesting articles and clippings that may interest the child. Expose children to a reading environment. Put up bookshelves in the child's bedroom. Provide a quiet, private place for a child to read. A library cart makes a great present. Try taking the child to the library at least once a week and stay for at least an hour. Children who are old enough to write their names are old enough to have a library card. Look for books children can identify with. Books that will encourage them, motivate them, or assist with any troubles they might be experiencing. Books on a wide variety of people and cultures in the world are also great reading selections for kids. For teenagers, look for special interest readings such as magazines about special passions of theirs, like sports or music. Remember that reading magazines often leads to reading books. Also, encourage teenagers to join after-school activities that incorporate lots of reading, like drama or debate, for example. Accelerate a child's reading. Acceleration means success, and success will make them want to read. By using the techniques we discussed earlier, you can give the child in your family the desire to read and put them on the fast track to reading success. When working to accelerate a child's reading, understand the main objective is that the child must be able to read on his or her own. Start off by teaching, number one, that words are made up of sound pictures that move from left to right. Then, number two, teach the child to blend those sounds together. And remember, number three, they must know the code, the sounds of the language, and the sound pictures that represent them. Next, number four, teach your child to manipulate sounds. Manipulating phonemes, the ability to pull out, add, and replace sound pictures in words. And don't forget number five, teach the child how to manage multi-syllable words. Be sure to practice good correction strategy. When correcting a child, give them only the information he or she needs to be able to read the word on their own. Be prepared for the common mistakes and know how to deal with them. Just take a look at the additional materials we provided for you. Everything is there. For example, guessing at a word. Have the child segment each sound of the word.
All the rest of that nuisance.
Okay, Darius, you said nuisance. Let's take a closer look at that word.
Nonsense.
Very good, Darius. Nonsense.
If they skip a word, play the points game.
Tanya, so to help you to keep from skipping words when you're reading, you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's you, here's me. I'm going to start you off with 5 points. Every time you skip a word when you're reading, I'm going to give myself a point. So we don't want me to get up to you or bypass you, because then I'll win and you want to win, right? Okay, so let's try our best and not skip any words so I don't get any points.
When Helen was a child,
Or, if the child says the wrong word for an easy word they know, try this.
You said the wrong word for an easy word. So how about next time when we go over it, I run my finger along the top across the words, and you read along with my finger, and so we won't go too fast to run over the easy words like and. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and try it.
The next day, to pay Mr. Twick back for the frog trick.
The child might say the wrong sound picture. In that case,
Okay, you said shall. Okay. And this can be owl sometimes, like in the word cow. But it can also be O. Try it with the sound O.
Show?
Show. And show's a real word, right?
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
if the child reverses a word, ask them this.
Okay, now you see this word, Angie, right there? That's this word. And you said saw for that word, okay? And you said it backwards. What's the first sound picture that you see in the word? Wah. Very good. And the second one? And the last one? S. Can you blend those together?
Was.
Okay, so the word is was instead of saw. So now you know how to not reverse a word, right? Good job, Angie.
If they reverse a sound,
That's not duh, it's buh. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can tell the difference. Which one is buh?
That one.
Okay, good. All you have to do to tell the difference is to erase that top part. Okay, and now this is what?
Buh.
Buh.
and the final most common error is having trouble negotiating a long word. Well, in that case, we simply go back to multi-syllable management.
Let's try this word, Marcus.
Dry egg ton.
Okay. Now we've got a couple of different things happening here. What's the first chunk?
De.
Okay, let's take that. What's the next chunk?
Rack.
Good. So we got direct. Now, do you know what that is?
Chun.
All of this is one of our special endings. When we see that, we just want to say shun. Good. So we've got,
Direction.
you got it. Good job.
Demonstrate reading to children. As their closest adult, you can be a very important role model. You have the ability to become a major influence in the child's life. Children are drawn to emulate adults. If you have a love for books and reading, the child in your family will also want to read. So if you don't read much already, why not start to read more often, for the kids' sake? Adults that read in front of children provide reading life models. Reading to a child is like an audio commercial for reading. Demonstrating reading is a visual advertisement for the pleasures of reading. Read books, headlines, newspapers, computers, magazines. Read anything you can get your eyes on. No written word or oral plea can teach our youth what they should be, nor all the books on all the shelves. It's what the parents are themselves. So, have you got it? If not, stop the tape and go back and watch it. Go ahead. I'll wait. Okay, so now we recognize the goal, to help the child in your family want to read, which means helping them to read on their own at or above their grade level. Then they can read to learn. How do they reach that goal? READ. Read to a child, encourage children to read, accelerate a child's reading, and demonstrate reading to children. Reading is the most important building block in a child's education. Using these methods, you can set the child in your family on a course to be a lifetime reader. Don't you think they're worth it? Have fun! Teaching methods used in this program are based on Reading Reflex, the foolproof phonographics method for teaching your child to read, written by Carmen and Jeffrey McGinnis. To order a copy of this revolutionary new teaching system, contact Read America at this number,